Welcome back to my channel. Today we explore the value of a specific coins, the top 4 most valuable Jefferson nickels. So let's get started. First up, the 1965 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, especially those examples that appear in a dark black color shade condition and how much they can really be worth in today's market in dollars. The 1965 Jefferson nickel may look ordinary at first glance, but when you understand the historical transition that was happening in the United States during that year, you begin to realize why collectors pay special attention to coins from this period. The year 1965 was a turning point in American coinage because it marked the beginning of major changes in the way coins were produced and identified. The Jefferson nickel series itself began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home, Monticello, on the reverse. The design was created by Felix Schlag, and it has remained one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. By 1965, the design was already well established and familiar to millions of Americans. Now let us focus on the historical importance of 1965. In the early 1960s, the United States experienced a serious coin shortage. People were hoarding silver coins because the silver content in dimes, quarters, and half dollars was becoming more valuable than the face value of the coins themselves. As a result, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965. This law removed silver from circulating dimes and quarters and reduced silver content in half dollars. It also temporarily removed mint marks from coins produced from 1965 through 1967. This is why the 1965 Jefferson nickel does not have a mint mark even though it was struck at different mints. Before 1965, mint marks identified where a coin was produced, such as Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But during the transition years, mint marks were intentionally removed to discourage collectors from hoarding new coins. So every genuine 1965 Jefferson nickel will appear without a mint mark. This is completely normal and not an error. However, the absence of a mint mark combined with other factors such as condition, strike quality, and unusual color can significantly influence value. Now let us focus on composition. The 1965 Jefferson nickel was struck in a copper-nickel clad composition consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This alloy had already been used for nickels for decades, except for the wartime nickels from 1942 to 1945, which contained silver. Because the 1965 nickel does not contain silver, its value is not based on precious metal content, but rather on condition, rarity, and collector demand. Now we move to mintage. The 1965 Jefferson nickel had a very high mintage, exceeding 136 million pieces. This large number might make it seem common, and for the most part it is common in circulated grades. You can still find worn examples in pocket change today. However, high mintage does not mean every example is equal. Condition plays a critical role. In circulated condition, meaning coins that show clear wear on Jefferson's hair, cheek, and jawline, and flattening on Monticello's steps, the value usually ranges from $0.10 to $0.50, depending on eye appeal. In average worn condition, most dealers will treat it as a common coin, worth only slightly above face value. But when we talk about black color shade condition, things become more interesting. Many 1965 nickels developed dark toning over time due to environmental exposure, storage conditions, humidity, and contact with certain materials. A deep black or charcoal tone can form on the surface. Some collectors consider heavy black toning unattractive, while others appreciate natural dark patina, especially if it is even and original. It is extremely important to understand the difference between natural toning and damage. If the black color is the result of corrosion, chemical exposure, or improper cleaning, the value can drop significantly. Damaged coins may be worth face value even if they look unusual. On the other hand, if the black shade is natural and the surfaces remain smooth without pitting, the coin can still carry collectible value, particularly in higher grades. Now let us discuss uncirculated examples. An uncirculated 1965 Jefferson nickel without mint mark means the coin shows no wear under magnification. The high points of Jefferson's hair and the steps of Monticello must remain sharp. In mint state grades, such as MS-60 to MS-63, typical market values range from $2 to $8, depending on luster and strike quality. In higher mint state grades, such as MS-64 to MS-65, the value can range between $10 and $25. Coins that exhibit strong luster, full details, and minimal marks attract more interest. If a 1965 nickel reaches MS66 or better, which is much harder due to contact marks from mass production, the value can climb to $50, $75, or even above $100 for exceptional examples. Now combine high grade with attractive natural black toning. If a coin displays deep, even, black, or dark gunmetal toning that enhances contrast between devices and fields, some collectors of toned coins may pay a premium. In rare cases, beautifully toned, high-grade specimens have sold between $120 and $250 depending on visual appeal. One important detail that can greatly increase value is the full steps designation. On the reverse of the Jefferson nickel, the steps of Monticello are visible at the base of the building. In many 1965 nickels, these steps are weak or partially struck due to high-speed production. If a coin displays 5 or 6 fully separated steps, it's considered full steps. This detail is highly desirable. A 1965 Jefferson nickel without mint mark in MS65 condition with full steps can reach $150 to $300. In MS66 with full steps, the value can climb from $400 to $1,000 depending on overall eye appeal and market demand. These are not common finds and they require careful examination under magnification. Collectors should also watch for strike errors. While the lack of a mint mark is normal, there can be genuine mint errors, such as off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, lamination errors, or die cracks. If a 1965 nickel shows a dramatic mint error combined with dark toning and strong detail, the value can increase significantly. Minor errors might bring $20 to $75, while major dramatic errors can reach several $100s. One important detail to mention is special mint set coins. In 1965, instead of traditional proof sets, the mint produced special mint sets. These coins have a satin-like finish and sharper detail than regular circulation strikes. A 1965 special mint set Jefferson nickel in high-grade condition can be worth between $10 and $40. If exceptionally preserved with deep cameo contrast, values can exceed $100. When evaluating your 1965 Jefferson nickel, look closely at several key areas. Check Jefferson's hair above the ear and along the ponytail. Look at the cheekbone and jawline for wear. Turn the coin over and inspect the steps of Monticello under good lighting. Rotate the coin to see if original luster cartwheels across the surface. Natural black toning should appear smooth and integrated into the metal rather than flaky or rough. Storage plays a major role in preserving value. Coins stored in damp or contaminated environments may develop corrosion, which reduces desirability. On the other hand, coins stored in albums for decades sometimes develop attractive edge toning or uniform dark patina that collectors enjoy. In today's market, most circulated 1965 Jefferson nickels without mint mark in black color shade condition will sell between $0.10 and $1 depending on eye appeal. Average uncirculated examples range from $2 to $25. Higher grade mint state coins with strong strike and minimal marks range from $50 to $150. Full steps high grade examples can reach $300 to $1,000. Exceptional toned pieces with premium eye appeal may exceed $200 or more when the right buyer is found. The key message here is that while the 1965 Jefferson nickel is common in low grades, it becomes increasingly valuable as condition improves and as unique characteristics such as full steps or attractive natural black toning are present. Many collectors overlook these coins assuming they are all 5 cents, but careful examination can reveal hidden value. If you have a 1965 Jefferson nickel without mint mark in black color shade condition, do not clean it. Cleaning almost always reduces value. Leave the surface as it is and examine it carefully under magnification. Consider professional grading if the coin appears uncirculated with sharp steps and strong detail, because certified high-grade examples command significantly higher prices. The world of coin collecting often rewards patience, knowledge, and attention to detail. Even a common date coin like the 1965 Jefferson nickel can surprise you when preserved in exceptional condition or displaying unique visual appeal. That's why collectors continue searching through rolls, bank boxes, and old collections, hoping to find that one standout piece. So next time you see a dark-shaded 1965 Jefferson nickel without mint mark, don't ignore it. Take a closer look, study the strike, examine the steps, evaluate the luster, and determine whether the black tone is natural and attractive. In the right grade and condition, this humble 5-cent coin could be far more than its face value in today's market. Next up, the 1997 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark, and in this detailed video we're going to explore its history, background, mintage, design, condition factors, grading importance, errors to look for, and most importantly, its value in today's market in dollars when found in good condition. If you enjoy searching through your change or coin rolls, this is a coin you definitely need to understand. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The design has remained one of the longest-running designs in United States coinage history. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence. The reverse features Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia home. By 1997, the design had already been in use for nearly 6 decades, making it one of the most familiar coins in circulation. The 1997 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark was struck at the Denver Mint. The small letter D, located to the right of Jefferson's portrait on the obverse side, identifies it as being produced in Denver. During the late 1990s, production numbers for nickels were very high because demand for circulating coinage remained strong. In 1997, hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels were produced at the Denver facility. This high mintage means the coin is common in circulated grades, but condition plays a very important role in determining its value. The composition of the 1997 Jefferson nickel follows the standard modern nickel formula of 75% copper and 25% nickel. The coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. It features a plain edge without reeds. These specifications have remained largely unchanged since the series began in 1938, except for the wartime silver alloy nickels produced during World War II. Now let us focus on the design details. On the obverse, Jefferson faces left. The inscriptions include "In God We Trust" along the left edge, "Liberty" along the right side, and the date 1997 next to the word Liberty. The mint mark D appears just to the right of Jefferson's shoulder. On the reverse, Monticello is centered with strong architectural detail. Above the building is the word Monticello. Below the building are the inscriptions 5 cents and United States of America. Although the 1997 D Jefferson nickel is common in circulated condition, collectors still search for high-quality examples because modern coins in fully struck, uncirculated condition with sharp steps on Monticello can carry premium value. When we talk about good condition, we are referring to a coin that has seen circulation but still retains moderate detail. In grading terms, good condition typically means heavy wear across the high points of the design. Jefferson's hair details may appear mostly flat. The cheek and jawline show noticeable wear. On the reverse, the steps of Monticello are usually worn smooth, and many fine details of the building may appear weak. In most cases, a 1997 D Jefferson nickel in good circulated condition will trade very close to its face value of 5 cents. However, the market value can sometimes range from 10 cents to around 50 cents, depending on overall eye appeal, surface quality, and demand from collectors filling album slots. While this may not sound exciting, remember that value increases significantly in higher grades. When we move into very fine condition, where more design detail is visible, the value can rise slightly higher, sometimes reaching $1 or more if the coin has strong luster remaining. In uncirculated condition, particularly in mint state grades above MS65, the value can increase further. Coins with full steps on Monticello are especially desirable because they indicate a sharp strike. In high mint state grades with full steps, the 1997 D Jefferson nickel can reach values ranging from $10 to $50, or even more depending on quality and demand. The reason full steps matter is because the steps of Monticello are often weakly struck on modern nickels. A coin with clearly separated, uninterrupted steps shows superior strike quality. Collectors building registry sets often compete for the highest graded examples, which pushes up prices for top quality coins. Another factor that can increase the value of a 1997 D Jefferson nickel is the presence of mint errors. While most coins were struck normally, some error coins entered circulation. Examples include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, clipped planchets, and lamination errors. A noticeable off-center strike can increase value into the $20 to $100 range depending on severity. A strong double die variety, if confirmed, can also carry a premium. Even a small die crack can make a coin more interesting to collectors. Condition problems such as heavy scratches, corrosion, environmental damage, or cleaning will reduce the value significantly. Many people clean coins hoping to increase their worth, but cleaning almost always decreases collector interest. Natural surfaces with original color are preferred. The standard nickel alloy gives the coin a gray metallic appearance. Over time, circulation can produce darker toning, but this is normal and does not automatically reduce value unless the coin is heavily damaged. The 1997 D. Jefferson nickel also holds importance as part of long-term date and mint collections. Many collectors attempt to assemble a complete run of Jefferson nickels from 1938 to present. While early key dates such as the 1939 D or 1950 D are much more valuable, every date and mint mark is necessary for a complete set. Because of this, even common dates like 1997 D maintain steady demand. In today's market, if you find a 1997 D Jefferson nickel in simple, good circulated condition, you should realistically expect a value between 5 cents and 25 cents depending on buyer interest. If the coin shows better detail and light wear, it could bring 50 cents to $1. In mint state condition without wear, typical values range from a few dollars to over $20 for average uncirculated examples. Higher grade coins with strong eye appeal may reach $10 to $20. Exceptional examples with full steps in top certified grades have been known to sell for significantly higher amounts, sometimes reaching several dozen dollars. It's important to remember that coin values fluctuate based on demand, population reports, and overall market conditions. Modern coins often take decades before true scarcity appears in high grades because many were saved in rolls. However, attrition over time can reduce the number of pristine examples available. If you are searching rolls from banks, the 1997 D Jefferson nickel is common enough that you'll likely encounter multiple examples. The key is to look for coins with minimal wear, sharp strike details, and clean surfaces. Pay special attention to the steps of Monticello. Use good lighting and magnification to check for doubling or unusual features. Although the 1997 D nickel may not be a rare treasure in circulated condition, it represents an affordable entry point into coin collecting. Many valuable collections start with careful examination of everyday change. Learning to grade coins accurately and understanding what collectors look for can turn small discoveries into meaningful profits over time. The Jefferson nickel series continues today, but each year has its own story and production characteristics. The 1997 D issue reflects the late 20th century era of United States coinage when production was high, technology was advanced, and consistency was strong. Even so, small variations and condition rarities still create opportunities for collectors. In conclusion, the most valuable examples of the 1997 Jefferson nickel with D mint mark are those found in high mint state grades with full steps and exceptional surfaces. In simple, good circulated condition, the coin generally remains worth between 5 cents and 25 cents, sometimes up to 50 cents depending on eye appeal. In uncirculated grades, values typically range from a few dollars to over $20, with top examples reaching even higher levels in today's market. Always examine your coins carefully before spending them. Even common modern coins can surprise you when found in outstanding condition or with a rare error. The 1997 D Jefferson nickel may look ordinary at first glance, but for collectors who understand grading, strike quality, and market demand, it still offers value and opportunity in today's coin market. Next up, the 1991 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark, and specifically how much this coin can be worth in today's market, even in dirty and circulated condition. Many collectors ignore modern nickels because they assume there is no real value in them, but that assumption can sometimes cause people to overlook important details. The 1991 D Jefferson nickel may look common at first glance, especially when it is dirty, dark, or heavily circulated. But depending on condition, strike quality, and possible mint errors, this small 5-cent coin can carry more value than most people expect. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The design features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. The 1991 issue continues that long-running design tradition. By 1991, the coin had already been in production for more than 5 decades, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. The obverse of the 1991 D Jefferson nickel shows a left-facing portrait of Jefferson, with the word Liberty to the right and the date 1991 just beside it. The D mint mark appears on the obverse to the right of Jefferson's portrait, indicating that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse features Monticello centered on the coin, with the inscriptions E pluribus unum at the top, Monticello in the center, 5 cents below it, and United States of America along the bottom edge. The coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, the same composition used for most regular issue nickels since 1946. It weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. These specifications remained consistent through the late 20th century. In 1991, the Denver Mint produced a very large number of Jefferson nickels. The total mintage for the 1991 D nickel was over 900 million coins. With such a high production number, it is not considered a rare coin in general circulation. Because of this massive mintage, most examples found today in pocket change are worth only their face value of 5 cents. However, when we begin to look closer at condition, grading, and possible mint errors, the value can increase significantly. Now let us focus specifically on dirty condition coins. A dirty 1991 D Jefferson nickel usually means the coin has been heavily circulated and has accumulated years of grime, oxidation, and environmental exposure. Dirt and dark toning often make the coin appear less attractive, but dirt alone does not always destroy value. In fact, some collectors prefer natural toning as long as the coin has not been harshly cleaned. Cleaning a coin can reduce its value dramatically because it damages the original surface. So if you find a 1991 D nickel that is dirty but has never been cleaned, it is generally better to leave it in its natural state. In circulated dirty condition, meaning the coin shows clear wear on Jefferson's hair, cheek, and jawline, as well as flattened steps on Monticello, the value typically ranges from 5 cents to about 25 cents. This depends on how strong the details remain and whether the surfaces are free from major scratches or damage. Coins graded in very fine condition might sell for around 10 to 15 cents. In extremely fine condition, they may reach 20 to 30 cents. Even though this is not a large amount of money, it is still several times face value. If the coin is in about uncirculated condition, but appears dirty due to storage or light toning rather than heavy wear, the value can rise to $1 or slightly more. The difference between a heavily worn coin and a lightly circulated coin is very important. Look closely at the high points of the design. If Jefferson's hair still shows detailed lines and the steps of Monticello are partially visible, the coin may grade higher than expected, even if it looks dark or dirty. One of the key value factors for Jefferson nickels from the late 20th century is the quality of the strike. Collectors pay special attention to what is known as full steps on Monticello. The steps at the base of Monticello should show 5 or 6 clear, uninterrupted lines. If a 1991 D nickel has full steps and remains in high-grade condition, it can command a premium. However, most coins from 1991 were not struck sharply enough to show perfect steps, especially after circulation. In high uncirculated grades such as MS65 or higher, a 1991 D Jefferson nickel can sell for several dollars. In even higher grades like MS66 or MS67 with strong strike and full steps, the value can rise significantly, sometimes reaching $50 or more depending on demand. These higher grade coins are usually found in original mint rolls or carefully preserved collections, rather than in everyday pocket change. Now let's talk about mint errors, because this is where the real excitement can happen. Even a dirty 1991 D nickel can be valuable if it has a genuine mint error. Some possible errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, die chips, doubled dies, and lamination errors. A minor die crack might add a few extra dollars to the value. A strong doubled die showing noticeable doubling in the lettering or date could raise the value to $25 or more depending on visibility and condition. An off-center strike error, even in circulated dirty condition, might sell for $50 or higher depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. Another factor to consider is whether the coin has unusual toning. Sometimes nickels stored in old albums develop rainbow toning or deep gold and blue colors. Even if the coin is technically dirty, attractive natural toning can increase collector interest. However, artificial toning or chemical damage reduces value. When evaluating a 1991 D Jefferson nickel in dirty condition, it is important to examine it carefully under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the date, mint mark, and lettering. Look for doubling in the word Liberty or in the date 1991. Check the reverse for cracks running through Monticello or unusual raised bumps that could indicate die chips. Also examine the rim for signs of being struck off-center. In today's market, the average dirty circulated 1991 D Jefferson nickel is worth between 5 cents and 25 cents. A lightly circulated example with stronger detail may bring $1. A high-grade uncirculated coin can range from $3 to over $50, depending on grade and strike quality. A significant mint error could push the value much higher, potentially into the range of $100 or more for dramatic and rare errors. Many people overlook modern nickels because they focus only on older silver coins or early 20th century pieces. But modern coin collecting has grown significantly, and registry set collectors often compete for the highest graded examples of common date coins. That competition drives up prices for top condition pieces even when the overall mintage is high. The key takeaway is that condition matters more than age in many cases. A dirty coin is not automatically worthless. What matters is the remaining detail, originality of the surfaces, and whether any mint error is present. Before spending or discarding a 1991 D Jefferson nickel, take a moment to examine it carefully. Even though most examples are common, a small percentage can carry surprising value. In conclusion, the 1991 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark may appear ordinary and dirty after years of circulation, but its value in today's market depends on condition, strike quality, and the presence of errors. While most are worth only face value, some can be worth several dollars, and rare error examples can be worth much more. This shows that even modern pocket change can hold hidden potential if you know what to look for and understand how grading and market demand work. Always inspect your coins carefully, avoid cleaning them, and remember that sometimes value is hiding in plain sight within the smallest denominations of everyday currency. Next up, the 2001 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark in fine condition. At first glance, it may look like just another 5-cent coin, but when you understand its history, its design, its production numbers, its condition scale, and its role in the modern market, you begin to see why collectors still pay attention to it and why certain examples can bring surprising value in today's dollar market. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel and introducing a new portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. By 2001, this series had already been in circulation for more than 6 decades. The 2001 Jefferson nickel represents the later stage of the classic Monticello reverse design that had been used since the beginning of the series. The coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is indicated by the small P mint mark on the obverse of the coin to the right of Jefferson's portrait. This P mint mark confirms that the coin was produced in Philadelphia rather than Denver or San Francisco. The obverse of the 2001 P Jefferson nickel features the familiar left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. The word Liberty appears to the right along with the year 2001, and the motto, "In God We Trust," appears along the left side of the coin. The portrait design in 2001 was still based on the original concept created by Felix Schlag, although slight modifications had been made over the decades to sharpen details and improve striking quality. The reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia, centered on the coin. Above it appears the motto, E pluribus unum, and below it the words Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. In terms of metal composition, the 2001 P Jefferson nickel follows the standard modern nickel composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This copper-nickel alloy gives the coin its silver-gray appearance when new. The weight is 5 grams and the diameter is 21.2 millimeters. The edge is plain, without reading. While these specifications are common for modern nickels, understanding them is important when verifying authenticity and detecting possible alterations or counterfeits. Now let us talk about mintage. The 2001 P Jefferson nickel was produced in very large numbers, with hundreds of millions struck for circulation. Because of this high mintage, the coin is extremely common in circulated grades. In fact, many people still find 2001 P nickels in everyday change even decades later. However, value is not determined by mintage alone. Condition plays a huge role, especially when we focus specifically on fine condition coins. When we say a coin is in fine condition, we are usually referring to a grade around fine 12 to fine 15 on the standard grading scale. In fine condition, the coin shows moderate wear from circulation. On the obverse, Jefferson's hair details are worn but still visible, especially around the back of the head and above the ear. The cheek and jawline are smoother than on an uncirculated coin, but the major outlines remain clear. On the reverse, Monticello will show flattening on the steps and central details, but the building's main structure and lettering remain readable and distinct. The rims should still be full and separate from the lettering, although minor may be visible. For a 2001 P. Jefferson nickel in typical fine condition, the value in today's market is generally close to face value. In most cases, such a coin sells for about $0.05 to $0.25 depending on overall eye appeal and whether it's part of a bulk lot. Individually, dealers often treat circulated modern nickels as face value coins unless there is something special about them. However, there are exceptions that can increase value. One important factor is eye appeal. Even within the fine grade range, some coins look better than others. A coin with even wear, smooth surfaces, and no major scratches or stains will be more desirable than one with heavy marks, discoloration, or corrosion. A well-preserved fine condition example might sell for around $0.50 to $1 to a collector who needs it to complete a set. This may not sound like a dramatic increase, but compared to its face value, it represents a multiple of 10 to 20 times. Another key factor is the possibility of errors or varieties. While the standard 2001 P nickel is common, error coins can be worth significantly more. Examples include off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, lamination errors, and double dies. A 2001 P Jefferson nickel in fine condition with a clear mint error could be worth anywhere from $10 to $50 or even more depending on the type and visibility of the error. Strong double die varieties or dramatic off-center examples can even exceed $100 in today's market. The value always depends on demand, eye appeal, and how dramatic the error appears. Collectors of modern coins often focus on high-grade, uncirculated, or proof examples, but there is also a steady market for circulated coins needed to complete albums. Many collectors build date and mint mark sets of Jefferson nickels from 1938 to the present. For someone filling a basic album from circulation finds, a clean, fine-condition 2001 P nickel is an essential piece. While it may not be rare, it still holds importance as part of the complete historical timeline of the series. The market for modern nickels is also influenced by metal prices. Although the intrinsic metal value of a nickel is typically close to or slightly below face value due to the copper-nickel composition, fluctuations in metal markets can affect long-term perception of value. However, melting circulating nickels for metal content is restricted, so their collectible value remains tied primarily to condition and rarity rather than bullion content. One interesting aspect of the 2001 P Jefferson nickel is its place just before the major design change that occurred in 2004 and 2005. In those years, the reverse design temporarily changed to commemorate the Louisiana Purchase and the Lewis and Clark expedition, and the obverse portrait was redesigned as well. Therefore, the 2001 issue represents one of the final years of the long-running classic Monticello reverse design in its original form before modernization. Some collectors appreciate these late classic design years as the closing chapter of a long era. In today's market, bulk rolls of circulated 2001 P nickels typically trade at or slightly above face value. A full roll of 40 coins might sell for around $2 to $3 depending on demand. Individually certified fine condition coins are rarely submitted for grading because the cost of grading exceeds the coin's market value. This means most fine examples remain raw and uncertified. If you are searching for the most valuable 2001 P Jefferson nickel, you should focus on exceptional circumstances. Look for coins with strong strike quality, minimal distracting marks, and attractive natural toning. Also, examine each coin carefully for errors. Even small die cracks or minor misalignments can attract niche collectors. A dramatic error in fine condition could realistically bring $20 to $75 and even more in rare cases if multiple errors are present. For ordinary fine condition examples without errors, realistic market value in today's dollars generally ranges from $0.05 to $1. The upper end of that range applies only to coins with excellent eye appeal or those sold individually to collectors completing albums. In most everyday transactions, the coin remains worth 5 cents. The true value of the 2001 P. Jefferson nickel may not always be measured purely in dollars. It represents a continuation of one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. It connects modern collectors with a tradition that began in 1938. It carries the image of Thomas Jefferson and the architectural symbol of Monticello into the 21st century. For many collectors, building a complete Jefferson nickel set is a rewarding challenge that teaches grading skills, attention to detail, and patience. So, if you have a 2001 P. Jefferson nickel in fine condition, examine it closely under good lighting. Compare it to grading references. Check for unusual features. Store it properly in a coin holder or album to prevent further wear. Even if its value today is modest, preserving coins carefully ensures that future collectors can enjoy them in the same condition. In conclusion, the most valuable 2001 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark in fine condition depends entirely on its specific characteristics. A standard circulated example is typically worth between $0.05 and $1 in today's market. However, error varieties or unusually attractive pieces can command $10, $20, $50, or more depending on demand. The key is knowledge, understanding grading, recognizing errors, and appreciating the historical context of the series allows you to identify which coins are truly special. So, before you spend your next nickel, take a closer look. That small 5-cent piece might just hold more value than you think. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting content. See you next time. Happy collecting!